Nancy Pelosi has responded to Archbishop Cordileone basically by calling him a hypocrite. She doubles down on her abortion support and she offers an argument of sorts as to why the Archbishop was wrong to do that, though I think what we'll see is it's essentially a logical fallacy, if not two. We'll look at the Code of Canon Law and some other things. Before we go any further, I want to invite you to become part of our free speech community over on Locals. We've got thousands of people over there. When you join us over there, you get morning podcasts from me, and you get to join me and 100 or so other people having a cup of coffee talking about the faith. We also have monthly spiritual direction videos that come out there from Father Gregory Pine that are exclusive. We also are paying people to record professional Catholic audio books that you'll get access to when you go over there as well. There's a ton else besides. Click mattfrad.locals.com. At least check it out. I think you'll really like it. Lots of people have been joining up lately, and if you're one of them, a big thanks. All right, so let's have a look at what Nancy Pelosi has to say. Responding publicly for the first time to her Archbishop, barring her from the Holy Communion. All right, so first of all, Cordileone said this is a pastoral, not a political decision, and that's right when you look at the Code of Canon Law, Canon 915. Here's what we read. Those who have been excommunicated or interdicted after the imposition or declaration of the penalty and others, and so this would be her, others, right? Others obstinately persevering in manifest grave sin are not to be admitted to Holy Communion. What does it mean to be someone who's obstinately persevering in manifest grave sin? So those are four conditions there. To be obstinate is to refuse to change your mind even after having been corrected. And Archbishop Cordileone has corrected her on multiple occasions. To be persevering in that thing. So it's not like you've done something once or twice. You're persevering even after having been corrected. And the thing that you're persevering in after having been corrected isn't just sin, it's something grave, but it's also manifest. It's something public. It would be one thing if you had a drinking problem or a gambling issue and you sinned in other ways, but this wasn't manifest. That's one thing. But when it's manifest, what it does is it causes scandal, because Catholics look at this and they say, okay, if Archbishop Cordileone isn't banning Nancy Pelosi, then either abortion's not that bad or the Eucharist isn't what the Catholic Church says that it is. All right. Let's have a look at what she had to say. On Tuesday, Pelosi gave no indication that her position on abortion, and how she speaks about it as a Catholic will change. She says, I wonder about the death penalty, which I am opposed to, so is the Church. But they have taken no action against people who may not share this view, she said during MSNBC's Morning Joe show. All right, so let's look at that. So I guess there are a couple of things I'd want to ask Nancy Pelosi. Should a bishop never ban somebody from receiving Holy Communion, sometimes ban people from receiving Holy Communion, or always and in every instance ban, as we said, obstinate, public, etc., sinners? Okay. I don't think she would say bishops should never ban, because as a Catholic, surely she would recognize the bishop's legitimate authority to do that. And I have to think that if Trump were a Catholic and he were, persevering in manifest sin in an obstinate way, and that sin was grave, that she would celebrate the bishop's decision. And even if you disagree with that, I'm sure we could come up with a few other people or some hypothetical examples where Nancy would say, no, okay, in that instance, it's okay. All right, fair enough. All right, so some people should. Okay, what kinds of people? What I find really interesting is the first thing she does here is she essentially analogizes her stance on abortion to other politicians' stance on the death penalty. So notice she didn't analogize it to insider trading or something like that. She sees the two as comparable. Isn't that interesting? So in the death penalty, the state kills a convicted criminal. In abortion, the doctor, on behalf of the mother, kills an innocent human life. So she seems to recognize that abortion involves the killing of a human life, which it seems to me would be the best explanation for why she would analogize that to the death penalty. But I guess I would say a couple of things. It is true that there has been doctrinal development on this issue, such that Pope Francis has said that the death penalty is inadmissible, but that's different from saying it's intrinsically evil. The death penalty is not intrinsically evil. That is to say, it's not evil in what it is. He's saying it's evil because of the current circumstances. Now, maybe you have a difference of opinion, but let's just sort of grant that for now. Okay, that's a different thing to abortion, which is intrinsically evil, because presumably in capital punishment, you have the state executing a guilty party. In abortion, you have the doctor killing an innocent person. It's that innocent human life thing that makes it intrinsically evil. Cardinal Ratzinger, back in 2004, had this to say, and I think it would be really helpful to look at. He says, not all moral issues have the same moral weight as abortion and euthanasia. Right? And the reason he's saying euthanasia and abortion, of course, is because in both instances, an innocent life is being deliberately killed. For example, if a Catholic were to be at odds with the Holy Father on the application of capital punishment or on the decision to wage war, he would not for that reason be considered unworthy to present himself to receive Holy Communion. While the Church exhorts civil authorities to seek peace, not war, and to exercise discretion and mercy in imposing punishment on criminals, it may still be permissible to take up arms to repel an aggressor or to have recourse to capital punishment. There may be a legitimate diversity of opinion, even among Catholics, about waging war and applying the death penalty, but not, however, with regard to abortion and euthanasia. And I think that's right. The recent developments on the death penalty don't rise to the same level of authority as the Church's teaching on abortion. But I think the next thing I would say to Pelosi is, okay, so basically this amounts to a tu quoque fallacy. The tu quoque fallacy, I think it's Latin for you too. So if somebody accuses you of doing something wrong, you don't actually respond. You just say, well, you're doing it as well. Okay, well, even if that is the case, it wouldn't follow that what you're doing is right. So even if it were the case that Archbishop Cordileone ought to take a more direct stance and ban other, obstinate, notorious sinners, I'm not going to go through the whole four things again. You know what I'm saying. Okay, well, all that would prove is that the Catholic bishop should take a stronger position against public Catholic sinners. So, okay, cool. So I think we're in agreement. So thank you, Nancy Pelosi, for maybe you'll call the bishops to be more, uniform and more consistent on this. That said, I do not think in any way, shape, or form that Archbishop Cordileone is being hypocritical in here for the reasons I offered. The death penalty is not intrinsically evil. Abortion is intrinsically evil. So I will leave it at that. I think we should continue to pray for Nancy Pelosi. I offered a video the other day where we had well over 3,000 of you offer prayers for her. I think we should continue to do that. I can't believe she's in her 80s. That's old. And I don't know, man. It's funny that the left often make this a religious issue in a way that it isn't. Right? They keep quoting religion while we keep quoting science. That said, I think in a way it is a religious issue. If you hurt me, maybe we become enemies. If you hurt my children, we've definitely become enemies. And I'm not sure how you can justify the slaughtering of God's children in the womb and think that you're a decent Catholic. I think here's another important point, right? As I said, I'd admit that Pelosi is correct, that the church ought to be taking a more active role in correcting all politicians who oppose her teaching. We need pastors proclaiming the truth. And this is why I've been saying we need to congratulate those bishops who are getting behind Archbishop Cordileone so that they will become more bold in doing this. But there is an active crisis in the issue of abortion in a way that there isn't with the death penalty. For example, abortion is clearly a more pressing issue. 11 people were killed by lethal injection in 2021, while over 1.2 million people were killed in abortion that same year. What do you think? Let me know below, and I hope I'll be able to see you over on Locals tomorrow. You know what we're going to do too? I'm going to pin a comment to the top asking for your prayers for Nancy Pelosi. And then would you do me a favor, click the thumbs up button if you've prayed it, and that way we can see how many more people we can get to pray for her. God bless you.